telling me that her content isn't cringe.
There's no secret on why people in this world deserve to be hated on.
I am changing. I'm not doing that stuff anymore.
Shut the fuck
I'm
up,
not doing that stuff
porn star.
anymore.
Okay, so I just recorded like 25 minutes worth of audio. And then I realized that my microphone was off. Do you know what that does to a man? Okay, so I'm going to try to go through this a little quicker since now I have everything refreshed in my brain. I made this script entirely with text-to-speech, so if I stutter or if I mess anything up, that's why. I'm trying to get this out as fast as possible. Hi. I'm the creator of the Doma2day, Fizzyanimz, ronbie 14, whatever you want to call it, document. There's a reason why it's down, and it's not because of anything getting too much for me to handle. It's because I'm not a 13-year-old anymore. I'm nearly an adult, and I've done proper research on topics such as child-on-child sexual abuse, actual grooming, and also ADHD, which, yes, plays an important part in this in a serious way. This post will not be debunking a bunch of things or going over everything, but rather just an overall simple explanation for bigger things. Jasmine already stated they will debunk most of it eventually when they are well enough, and if they want my help, I'm 100% willing to assist them. But if they want to do it themselves, it's fine. Nobody really knows the situation as well as Jasmine. I can only come in second. Jasmine's the only person in the entire planet who can fully understand what's going on in her mind, though I will be debunking the new things added in the document. Speaking of the document, the repost of my document has come to my attention. I am fairly little annoyed, infuriated actually, because I didn't want to deal with all this. The biggest issue with it is that Mortis has no contact with Jasmine at all, to my knowledge. Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't mention that this was copied before I privated the document. This is reposted without my permission. It's still filled with misinformation because I wrote it when I was young and biased. So that's also a problem. Mortis has no contact with Jasmine at all, to my knowledge. This is why the document can't be trusted. They're going at the situation from one side and not getting both sides. Therefore, it's biased. I also know Mortis has a personal past with Jasmine and is also biased to Jasmine. Bias and no contact with Jasmine was one of my biggest problems when I first made it. A lot of Mortis's language is also very unsettling in the document, such as, "You can't run from me," or "You can't get away from me, Jasmine. I've been following you for years." That's so fucked up. Jasmine isn't a monster. There's no need to say this creepy shit, especially if you're trying to make something serious. To clarify, as of now, I'm 17. When I made the document, I was 13 to 14. Jasmine was 11. I want to cover the top things in it, specifically the quote-unquote grooming. Oh my god, my fucking script keeps glitching out. I'm gonna lose my mind. I was young and also a grooming victim, so I was very emotionally charged about the situation and only listened to Jasmine's ex during it. Like I expressed in the pinned video Jasmine has on their TikTok, this was not grooming. This does not mean Sazi wasn't a victim, though, but Jasmine was also a victim. I don't know Sazi very well anymore, but what I do know is the situation was very toxic on both sides, which is something I only learned once getting proper contact with Jasmine. What happened would be classified as COCSA, or child-on-child sexual abuse. Both Jasmine and Sazi were very, very unwell at young ages and unfortunately ended up in a relationship. This did not go well for either of them, as I think all of you know, but what I portrayed was incorrect and quite frankly very unfortunate because the false notion that Jasmine is an abusive predator after kids was born from it. I think most of you know, considering most of you watch this have read the document or at least seen parts of it. Jasmine was extremely hypersexual from a young age and also very unstable. Same with Sazi. Despite some people assuming they were older or more predatory, Jasmine was only 11 years old when the situation started, and I'm pretty sure Sazi was 10. Of course, children being in relationships that young is always, bound to end well. It's bound to end bad. It's bound to end bad. When it comes to the state of both of their mental health, the two of them were both at the time very unwell, and that only made it worse. I'm not downplaying anything Sazi went through. What they went through is valid as their trauma, and they deserve to heal. But I do also not want to downplay anything Jasmine went through. What I know is that both sides were horrible to each other, and it went downhill that way. It was not one-sided. This does not make either person in this a bad person, just rather unwell kids who ended up in an unfortunate situation together. The truth is, dude, if this glitches one more time, I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm sorry I sound like I'm goofing off. I kind of giggle and laugh when I'm upset or trying to do something when I'm frustrated. I am frustrated. This is serious. But I just recorded like 25... Never mind. Where was I? Let me find that. The truth is, even to this day, I'm not very educated on how the relationship was, and I personally don't think I should be, and I don't think anyone in the public should be unless Jasmine chooses they think that people should be. Jasmine's relationship when they were 11 years old is quite frankly nobody's business, and I was very immature and also detrimental of me to stick my nose in it. I want to cover a few things that I use as proof of grooming, something that I've gone through my life as well, and I know I don't want to make this about me, but this is my personal statement, and the way I've learned this is become educated on this specific part is through my own personal experience, so I want to talk about it. Something I claim Jasmine... Oh my god. It glitched again. Oh my god. Anyways. Something I claim Jasmine did a lot was love bombing. Love bombing is a form of abuse where at the start of a relationship, someone purposely gifts and gifts and gifts to their partner and showers them in overwhelming affection in order to make them feel loved and overjoyed, and also to bring down their defenses. While love bombing is also... What am I saying? While love bombing is usually a tactic in abuse, love bombing is also a word used regarding relationships between neurodivergent people. When people with ADHD fall in love, what most people would call the honeymoon phase is much stronger for those with ADHD. This is because when a relationship starts, those with ADHD develop hyperfixations on their partners. No, I'm not pulling this out of my ass. This is something that has been studied. This is why those with ADHD will quote-unquote love bomb their partners. Not out of abuse or any means to gain something or wear down defensive, but out of actual love. I did not know this while writing the document. I have also done this in the past. Does this make me an abusive groomer? No. This just means I'm a little special needs and my brain works differently than other people, which is fine. And so does Jasmine's, since Jasmine is also properly diagnosed with ADHD. The rest of the relationship cannot be counted as grooming, either because... 1. Grooming is an intentional process of preparing a victim for abuse. 2. There needs to be a power imbalance. And 3. Groomers do this to get something from their victim, whether that be money or sexual gratification or anything. There is always a goal, and Jasmine didn't have that. Jasmine did not groom Sazi or anyone else for that matter. The rest of the stuff at the top can be easily... misread that. The rest of the stuff at the top of the document and throughout all, of course, can't be easy to brush off, but it can be easily explained as Jasmine being an uneducated child who needed to learn from their mistakes when they were 11 years old with a massive following. Here's a video that also discusses my standpoint on it in a vague manner regarding how Jasmine's age was important.
Yes, it absolutely fucking does matter that she was a child, dude. You can't just sit here and tell me that if you see a grown adult doing these things, that it's the same if a child did these things, and you would treat them the same as you would a fully grown adult who knows what they're doing. Like, are you serious? Let me remind you, when Doma was in the prime of her TikTok, when she went by Fizzy, I saw the whole thing went down, and she was like about 11 to 12, and as soon as she got quote-unquote canceled, there was 17-year-olds, the age I am now, and adults tracing her art to make some really nasty content. And you know what that is? That's sexual harassment. That's predatory behavior. And nobody bat an eye to it because, oh, you know, this guy's canceled. Well, let it slide. You really gonna let that slide? Are you serious? Did you not see the billions of posts tracing this 11-year-old's art to make some really nasty porn? Are you serious? And the saddest thing is that people still believe to this day, 4 years later, that Doma did that shit. Are you serious? Those were predators. How is nobody talking about this? You're like, oh, Doma did this, Doma did this. They're an 11-year-old, all right? They can grow out of this behavior. Why are you still dragging this on? Why is nobody talking about the billions of predators that trace her art? Never in a million years can you convince me that Doma is a horrible person, because she is a literal toddler, all right? She is a teenager doing this shit. And the thing is, she didn't even do anything that bad this year. Why do we care? I've seen grown adults dox this child, all right? I've seen grown adults harass this child. And you want to know why? Because she was an easy target at the time. And everybody was just dogpiling this child, this 11-year-old. And if you don't see anything wrong with that, you have a horrible mindset. You lack sympathy. I don't, like, this whole argument that age doesn't matter. It absolutely fucking does, all right?
Ignore my little brother screaming in the background. Despite him being sick and having been off of school for like a week, he's still apparently well enough to play Roblox and scream over the call with his friends. Anyways, I also personally think it's fucking insane. That people are saying it doesn't matter. She was like 11 or 13. The human brain isn't fully developed until someone's at the age of 25 years old. 18-year-olds aren't even fully developed. Of course, 18-year-olds are still adults and need to be mature and held accountable, but there's a huge difference between an 11-year-old and an 18-year-old, considering how fucking impulsive people are, especially those with ADHD like Jasmine. Jasmine acted upon distress, and I didn't want to share this because this was supposed to just privately be for me and Jasmine when I was apologizing to them and removing the document. But I think that this expresses a lot of my opinions to this day, very importantly, so I'm going to read it off. If it sounds like I'm reading off a note to someone, it's because this was a note to Jasmine. An apology. I won't be reading all of it, but I will be reading the parts I find important. Hello, I know this is sort of sudden, but as of recently, really more of months ago, I decided to private the document. I did this because it was so long, I realized I couldn't properly fix what I had done. Some things I said there were false, and conclusions I came to before I even got your side. Honestly, even to this day, I still don't know the full story between you and Sazi. I was young, and I was so blinded by, this is wrong, my friend is hurting, and I want to help my friend, without thinking rationally. I never realized how much hate and harassment it would have gotten you, even if I severely spoke against it. By the time I was smart and mature enough to communicate with you, the document was already too long and biased to save it, even if I tried. Of course, a lot is still left out, because I never got to adding it, but I will never add it. I never plan on adding to it. Not to mention, you and Sazi seem more like a case of COCSA, which isn't a black and white good versus bad topic, but a very nuanced topic where both children are victims and unintentionally doing such. Using the word grooming was wrong of me, especially considering the fact you never intentionally did any acts to attempt to groom Sazi. I've recently only come to realize this as I've done more research and also the pop-up of both Birdie and Kitty Dog discussing these topics, which has educated me more. I don't know anything about your home life. Instead of trying to cancel you or write a document, I should have tried to educate you properly and been more kind. I remember people saying you were the next Birdie, and I unfortunately agree with the sentiment because Birdie was young and children started drama that got out of hand and villainized a child clearly struggling through a mental health crisis. It was harder for me to realize this sooner back when you kept acting out poorly and worse. Me and the people around me only saw someone doing something deplorable and disgusting instead of someone young who was struggling and crying out for help in ways that weren't seen. After you improved and actively worked to get better this year, it was only around then when I realized how much you have struggled and how much support you needed that you didn't get. The shunning also led you to get stuck in places where you were unsafe and I can't stress enough how upsetting this is, especially because when I was young, I tried to make this to prevent harm being caused, but unfortunately, the opposite happened, and so many people were harmed, including Jasmine. Let me find where I was again. The shunning also led you to get stuck in places where you were unsafe and put you in danger. I can't even begin to apologize enough for that happening. I know you have been through more than enough abuse by now, and you don't deserve to go through that ever again. Looking back, your actions to get worse seemed to be to try and feed the negative attention you got, because you were used to it. You wanted to make more negative attention so you could feel less alone and feel like people were noticing you, even if it was bad attention. Being put as a bad person, you were trapped around people who were actually bad people that hurt you, which also only worsened your mental state and behavior. So much of the drama was you being uneducated or not understanding something. Of course, you did do some bad things, but you have improved, and children make mistakes, especially more drastic mistakes if they're in an unsafe, toxic environment like you were put in. I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness, because even indirectly what I did and my poor choices caused you so much harm and trauma that I know someone your age didn't deserve it all. I know I can't exactly make up for what I caused, and I don't want to drag this on with a bunch more rambling. Okay, well, that's the note. And now with that over, I will be debunking the quote-unquote new parts of the document that were poorly done, immaturely done, and done without my permission. Just so you know, most of the stuff in the document that I wrote is still misinformation, because I didn't have contact with Jasmine when I first wrote it. I also haven't edited it, and I don't have the chance to edit the one that's currently posted because it was stolen from me and made into a copy by Mortis. I was biased as fuck when I made it, and I was little and tiny. See how I'm 17, and now I'm only, I noticed this last year, but see how I'm now only noticing things? This is because kids are stupid. Okay? Kids do stupid shit. This is why kids shouldn't be involved in serious drama. This is why situations like this should be handled with care. Jasmine deserved help. Jasmine was an immature child, and no matter how much people tried to educate them, it would have been hard for them to realize it with how much hate they were getting. Do you know what that does to a person's psyche when they're that little? Anyways, regardless of the little rant, I'm going to go over some claims that Mortis made in the document, even though he took it and published it again without my permission, and also didn't ask Jasmine about anything, which is why it's so balls. First of all, the claim that Jasmine mass reported all re-uploaded content that I put up in the doc is false. I took them down. Also, even if Jasmine did take down people who were reposting their content, they have every right to, because it's completely their content, and also I wouldn't want people to be reposting stuff I made when I was like a mentally ill, groomed 13-year-old. The second most recent claim is that a show called Pretty Blood or whatever was something that Jasmine was into, and it was this old Newgrounds animation that had like a cutesy art style and had like gore of cute animals in it. That's just kind of how the internet was back then. Mortis referred to it as a fetish. It wasn't stuff like that. Well, I can't talk because I haven't seen Pretty Blood, but in all honesty, that's just how stuff on the internet was. Not a sexual gratification thing. It was just, oh my god, I'm so edgy, lol. Also, directed at Mortis, if you're seeing this, since you seem to express that the series was problematic, or whatever word you want to use, why were you in the series fan server? That is my only question. That is not a gripe with you, because I personally don't think the series is that serious. If it's an old, like, gory Newgrounds animation, that's, like, really not that big. Also, another claim was that it was racist for Jasmine to have a Japanese name, or Japanese letters in their Discord username. It's really not that big a deal. I've liked anime, like, quotes or lyrics, and I've put them in my bio in Japanese. It's like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's literally like, it's not a big deal. Also, this is further proof that Mortis is uneducated and biased and is just trying to villainize Jasmine, but they claim that Jasmine was 100% white and racist and American. Jasmine is half Mexican. That was stated many times in the original document, which, even if I don't like most of the document, that part of it was definitely true. The next one, if this isn't the biggest nothing burger I've ever seen, I don't know what is. This one is... Sorry. I know I should be handling this seriously, but this claim is so... Okay. The claim is that Jasmine was drawing OCs as femboys, and that was problematic, or other people's OCs as femboys. This is literally just a case of, I'm an artist, I can draw you pregnant, or I can draw you as a femboy, or I can draw you whatever. It's not serious. Drawing someone pregnant or lactating or as a femboy or whatever you want to do, like as a joke, it's low quality, it's a shit post, it's a joke. There's no proof of Jasmine doing this to overstep someone's boundaries or harass them. It's just proof of Jasmine doing it like a singular time with a few characters. It's not a serious thing. Also, the Raya mention, it's Jasmine's OC. That the drama with Raya, or the OC Raya, was when they were 13. I'm not talking about that. I think that's stupid. Also, saying it's weird for Jasmine to suddenly like femboys? What's the problem? There's literally nothing wrong with liking feminine men or men who dress up in skirts or thigh highs. Sure, some people might find it weird or cringe, but who gives a fuck? Like I said, this is a nothing burger. Also, femboys are not inherently sexual. A lot of men, just, like, not gender non-conforming men, just like to, like, I don't know, dress up in cool alternative clothes. I like to dress up in cool alternative clothes. Next, for the Nazi OC, that wasn't Jasmine's. As hard as this is, or as hard as this will sound to a lot of people, I actually reached out to Jasmine, and it took me about 2 minutes. And Jasmine responded and said that wasn't even their art. It looks vaguely like their art, but it also is not exactly their art. It was an old friend of theirs that they don't talk to anymore. The friend was being immature and said it was supposed to be an opposite Nazi, or whatever that means. Edgy, stupid, very, very disrespectful, and shouldn't be condoned or accepted, but that's not on Jasmine. Jasmine didn't do that. I'm starting to notice a pattern here with the fact that a lot of this is just misinformation and very, like, randomly thought up lies that Mortis came up with, or quick jump to assumptions, which is something I did when I was younger as well. And like I said, that was pretty stinky poopy of me. For the claim that Jasmine turned their OC into a predator, and I'm not going to pull up screenshots because I want to get this up as fast as possible, but there was a claim that basically Jasmine drew a character looking in a box and saying, "Oh boy, I hope there's minors in here." This was also reached out to Jasmine. This was Jasmine making fun of a pedophile. They drew a pedophile's OC and did that to make fun of them. It wasn't even a serious drawing. It was a shit post scribble. Okay, so Jasmine didn't turn their OC into a pedophile. Jasmine isn't a pedophile. That's stupid. I agree the Dandy's World creator is really gross. Gross. But Jasmine liking the Dandy's World characters and drawing them does not mean Jasmine directly supports the creator. Also, recently, as of around the time Jasmine started posting stuff to do with Dandy's World, the creator that was a pedophile was kicked off of the team. I also think it's weird for the next point to complain about Jasmine posting fetish content from a fetish game. The only thing you should have a reaction to for this is being concerned, considering Jasmine's a young child. Jasmine engaging in this type of content is only harmful to Jasmine and possibly a few other people around them. This isn't a sign that Jasmine's a predator or a bad person. This is a sign that Jasmine is unwell and improperly handling their hormones, and that's dangerous for them. We should be worried about Jasmine's safety, not about the fact that they're doing it. We should be more concerned and be like, hey, don't do this, it's unsafe, not, you're evil! Sorry, I feel like I need to be taking this more seriously, but I think some of these claims are very silly, which is why I'm acting silly, but I do find this situation very serious, if you couldn't tell by, everything I've put into this. The next claim is about an OC called Dick Tick or something. Apparently Jasmine was drawing the character, I don't know, in a little bit of a suggestive way, and the creator of the OC was 15 and also a bad person. So I reached out to Jasmine. Jasmine said they didn't know the creator was 15, and they stopped when they found out. They also claimed that Jasmine was racist because they drew a picture of this OC Dick Tick saying a slur, or having a screenshot of a slur that Jasmine dug up. This is wrong. As Jasmine said, the creator of the OC was racist, and the screenshot was of the creator, and the drawing was made to mock them, as previously this was for Jasmine's inside little friend group or little tiny server they were in. Also, to clarify, anything with Jasmine on Discord is at least over a few months old, because Jasmine isn't on Discord anymore. They are trying to get better, and this whole situation's not going to make it easier for them. Speaking of not being easy, before I end this, I'm getting a little mad when I'm reading this out, but I want to state something that I discovered while talking with Jasmine about this. These people aren't just being immature and stupid and reposting misinformation. Multiple of these people are adults who have doxes on Jasmine. They have Jasmine's address and their phone number, and they have been calling her parents, her family. Do you know how scary that is to a child, especially one in this situation? Do you know how fucking horrifying that is? How can you even consider that you are in the right? Even if someone does something wrong and you do that to them, that's so insanely disgusting. I can't even... Exactly, I can't even. I can't fathom how someone could do that. You are disturbing and disgusting if you did this. If you have any questions about this, take it up with me in the comments or in my DMs if you know me. Leave Jasmine alone. And if you really do want to talk to Jasmine and you have a question I don't have the answer to, please be polite. Keep things privately. Discuss things not casually, but discuss things courteously and maturely. Have serious discussions so both of you can learn and grow from it, not just so you can harass them. Jasmine does not deserve to be harassed. I don't agree with everything Jasmine has done, but Jasmine is actively working to get better. And I don't think making this public will help. And I don't think making anything bad they do public is going to do anything other than hurt them and cause people to harass them. This isn't about awareness anymore. There's no amount of awareness you can spread when a situation gets like this. People have a raging hate boner for Jasmine, and they're keeping up with it because they want to harass them. Thank you.